It's the final game of round 7 in the Ninja A-League, and Wanderers Football Park is abuzz for the imminent arrival of a Matildas star in red and black. 60-cap Aussie international Chloe Berryhill has made her way to Wonderland and adds some extra fuel to the fire for an important clash between the Western Sydney Wanderers and Central Coast Mariners. They are two teams looking to kick their season into gear and arriving off the back of a tale of 2 derbies in the previous week. The visiting Mariners riding high after last week's F3 Derby Masterclass, that 4-1 win against Newcastle, the perfect tonic to arrest a 3-game losing run. But the question remains, can they replicate that Polytech perfection on the road? The reigning champions remain winless and goalless outside of the Central Coast so far this season. Over at Marconi Stadium, though, the Wanderers' wait for a Sydney Derby win went on. A goalless sky blue stalemate, as you can see Alex Aparkis in conversation with Ninja A-League commentator Teo Pellizzeri there. He had a front row seat to that draw last week where there was plenty of promise and positives for the Wanderers. They are setting their sights for new heights this week with some green and gold class in the ranks. And Kath Canoli, how exciting is it to have Chloe Berryhill back in the Ninja A-League today and at the Wanderers?
It's unbelievable. It's so fantastic for the Western Sydney Wanderers, but to have someone like Chloe Berryhill back in the Ninja A-League is just fantastic for the league. And it's also even better for the youngsters coming through at the Western Sydney Wanderers.
It's a fantastic opportunity for those young players, of whom there are so many in Wonderland these days, coming through the academy ranks to learn from a player with so much experience in the Ninja A-League and abroad, 130 games in the local competition. She's had to wait a couple of extra hours for her Wanderers debut, of course, because this one pushed back by a couple of hours due to the heats in Sydney's west. But I'm told that a cool change is currently blowing through Rooty Hill and will set us up perfectly for kickoff, which is right around the corner. Here is the lineup for the Western Sydney Wanderers, and the one that everyone was looking for. Chloe Berryhill comes straight into the starting 11. She's the only change made by Jeff Abrahams off the back of the derby. But keep an eye out for the player that she has replaced, Holly Caspers. She sits on the bench and has scored in each of her last 2 games against the Mariners, including a 93rd minute winner last time they met. So similarly, for the Mariners, it is one big change in the lineup. They will sadly be without their star goalkeeper, Sarah Langman, after she ruptured her ACL last week. Annalie Grove replaced her off the bench on Sunday, and the former Adelaide United stopper gets the nod from the start today. There is the Matilda of the moment. Chloe Berryhill recently returned from Italy after a short stint with Como in Serie B, the 2nd division there. She's back in her home state of Sydney for the first time in a while and targeting a place in Joe Montemuro's Matilda squad for the upcoming Asian Cup. If you're of a Mariners persuasion, there's your glimpse at your new #1 keeper, Annalie Grove. She's originally from Lake Macquarie, not far from the Central Coast. Spent the last 5 years in Adelaide prior to joining the Mariners. First start in over a year in the Ninja A-League for her today. Sides getting lined up in formation. It's an interesting setup, this one. One team who is yet to win at home, a team without a win away, in a matchup, Mills, that has never been drawn in its history. I'm not entirely sure what to expect this afternoon.
I think we're going to be in for a cracking game today, Lockie. Both teams need to, get a win on the board, especially the Wanderers. They're sitting on the bottom of the table at the moment. They've made a great signing in Chloe Berryhill, and they want to hit the ground running with her especially. But I think both teams are going to go out to want to win this game, but I think both teams are thinking they have the ability to win this game. So it's going to be a cracking game.
Absolutely will be. And presiding over it will be Beck Mackey. She's assisted by Lauren Hargrave and Maggie Price. Sophie Allen, the 4th official this evening. Through the coin toss duties, captains Tara King and Amy Harrison. It's been great to see Amy Harrison back in midfield this year after filling in that centre-back slot at the Wanderers the last few seasons. Corey Babington will be hoping that that emphatic 4-1 win last week lays down a marker for what's to come for the reigning champions in their title defence. They were so impressive in that F3 Derby win last weekend.
It was a fantastic win for the Central Coast Mariners, and I'm sure Corey Babington is riding on the highs of that, and especially pumping up the girls for this game. You know, when you're coming off the back of a good win, and it was a big win and a big statement for those girls to come out. They were having a bit of a down point in their season, so to come out on a 4-1 win against the Jets was huge, and gives them great momentum coming into this game against the Western Sydney Wanderers.
Absolutely will be. You can see they're going through their final instructions, as are the Mariners, ahead of the last game of round 7 in the Ninja A-League. It really is a big 3 points for both of these sides on offer if they do want to just take their season campaign up a notch, which the Wanderers will be hoping they can do with the continued introduction of new faces into their side. We saw the arrival of Chinese striker Yuan Kong last week, leading to an exciting attacking contingent that features Sunny, number 9 for the Wanderers, South Korean international. Yuan Kong was really impressive in her full 90 minutes on Wanderers' debut last week, just a fraction away from that dream debut goal.
She really was, and she's been a fantastic signing for the Western Sydney Wanderers. It just takes a little bit of time. You know, she's coming into a new league. She hasn't really been settled. She doesn't speak great English. It's always hard to sort of get a bit of a groove on, but give her a little bit of time, and once she gets that first goal, I think she'll be a really key player for the Western Sydney Wanderers.
We are underway at Wanderers Football Park. After an extra 2 hours of waiting, great to get the final game with the weekend's action underway. Rasmussen tries to find an early opening. Zula to Peter Trimmis. Peter Trimmis has been in fantastic form to start the Ninja A-League season. A goal and 2 assists already, and the overall performance cap was impressive for the Mariners, but how well worked some of their goals were last week really was one of the things that caught the eye.
They really did. They really do some really great things on the ball, especially going forward. They've got some real creative players. You know, you've got Greta Krasula and Isabel Gomez, 2 very technical players that can really make something out of nothing, and they're really great at creating. And then up front, you've got Rasmussen, who really, once you get her in front of goal and get her in those key positions, we know that she can really put the ball in the back of the net. But the Mariners, you know, you can't underestimate this team. They've got a great squad overall, and you've got players like Avani Prakash that can come on and really change the game as well. So it's fantastic to see them get a little bit more success last week, and really they can roll on with this momentum now.
Well, their results in the league so far have been different. Of course, the Mariners sitting in 7th, 2 wins and 3 losses to start this season. Wanderers bottom of the table. They are sort of kindred spirits in the sense that both of them have gone through so much upheaval in the off-season, so many players parting way, new faces coming in, and they're both still gelling together, it feels like.
Absolutely. Both teams are in different spaces of where they're at. It's still really early days in the competition. It's a lot longer competition these days, so it can give you a little bit more time to sort of settle in. It's a difference for Central Coast Mariners with Corey Babington coming in. It's a complete different mindset to where Emily Husband had the team. So it's changes for the girls as well. But given all those changes, I think, you know, both teams overall, if you look at them on paper, are 2 quality sides. Push forward by the Wanderers in the direction of Yuan Kong. Certainly provides a more defined striking and aerial presence for Jeff Abraham's side in what has been a tricky position in the last season and the start of this for the Wanderers, but historically as well, either side of that remarkable Julie Dolan medal season for Sophie Harding 2 seasons ago now. Many over the years, other than yourself of course, have been able to really make that number 9 slot their own consistently. It's been a position that the Western Sydney Wanderers have always struggled to recruit in this league. And other than the year where we had Lynn Williams, Denise O'Sullivan, Tristan Hamilton, where we were a real force and made the finals, and you know, we had an absolute gun team. Other than that, we really haven't found an out-and-out striker. So this season will be really interesting to see how Jeff Abraham's new recruits do go, because we know in this league you have a great striker to put goals in the back of the net. It really is a game changer.
Of course, the statistics slightly skewed by the lengthening number of games in a season across the stretch in the Ninja A-League, but as it remains, Sophie Harding the only player to have hit double digits in a single season for the Wanderers.
Come on, keep moving, keep moving!
Very happy to get the ball around the back in the opening minutes. And curiously, on the other side of things, the Mariners seemingly not in any great rush to press them, which you often see teams fly out of the blocks, try and put their opposition under the cosh early doors, but the Mariners have trusted their shape, and it's paid dividends as Rasmussen has a pop. It's well off target, but I guess that's the game plan out of possession right there.
The Mariners know that the Western Sydney Wanderers are a team that want to keep possession. They like to change the point of attack and really be comfortable on the ball. And you can see here that they bring in Shem Karmas into the fold of being able to build up from the back. But you can see the Central Coast Mariners, their defensive setup is so disciplined. And they've been fantastic in this space over the last few games especially. You can see it's something that Corey Babington is really, really pushing with the team. And they're patient and they wait for their moment of when they can go and attack the ball, to win the ball, to then attack again.
And they are able to force the stoppage. Go to Scipio's header over the top in the direction of Peter Trimmis. Just lacking a bit of juice to get to the winger on the opposite flank. Kong scrapping for it with Annabelle Martin. Six-cap Chinese international Yuan Kong. 20 minutes Sydney Derby debut last week. Signing from Guangdong in China alongside her compatriot Wang Ying, who's on the bench today. Coming via a recommendation from current China women's national team coach Ante Milicic. Martin is carrying it forward for the Mariners. Rasmussen dropping off the front line and just overcooking that pass, but it's great to see her trying to link in with her attacking teammates. It'll be interesting, Kath, to see how Annalise Rasmussen goes today. After such an impressive two-goal performance, she feels like a striker who this season is primed potentially for a breakout year.
Absolutely, and it comes with experience. The more she gets comfortable playing week in, week out, and we know she was always a youngster coming off the bench, and that's how really Emily Husband was using her, but now she's starting to make that position her own, and she is an absolute quality player. Her ceiling is so high, she's got so much potential, and she just shows that she's so comfortable on the ball. But for me, the way she gets herself in front of goal and the way she puts the ball in the back of the net using a lot of different types of techniques is phenomenal.
11 goals in 53 Ninja A-League appearances so far. Corey Babington shares your optimism, Kath. He said during the week he's actually not sure that Alice knows how good she is actually capable of being. So we held view that is a player with plenty of upside. Speaking of which, Izzy Gomez with a nice disguised pass for Coco de Scipio. Deflected cross allows Chloe Berryhill to get on the football and show her quality. Pushes it wide to Buchanan. Sonny couldn't control. Has regained. Raina Bauman. Great spark since crossing the F3 Derby divide. We've been feeling very good about that decision last week. Rasmussen for Quilligan. With Gray. Hopeful long launch. Chisari to be wise to the danger of beyond rushing Izzy Gomez over her shoulder. And now Yuan Kong toe-to-toe with Taryn King.
Hey, back in here, quick.
This throw is going to go the way of the Wanderers.
Go in front of her. Stay in front of her. Stay in front. Stay in front. Good. Now change. Seconds.
Tess goes long, curiously, to perhaps the shortest option of all her teammates in Sonny. It's Yuan Kong who comes up with the football. She's upended. A whistle from Beck Mackey. Poppy hooks. It's a nice ball over the top. It's just past the reach of Yuan Kong. The question remains as to whether the offside flag has come up. The Chinese attacker latched onto that one.
Come on, Yuan. That's better. Travel.
Pasula to Miss Barwick-Gray. It's a homecoming of sorts for Barwick-Gray, of course, back in the Ninja A-League for the first time in close to a decade. And back in those days, not only was she a wanderer, she was also a striker.
And that sometimes happens as a footballer. You start as a striker and then you slowly work your way back as the defender.
Comes Lorena Baumann, a pocket of space opening up for her, and the shot not a bad idea with the space that was afforded to her.
Yeah, you can see here Baumann's got plenty of space there. I would have liked to see her really drive into the box there and really get her body behind that strike of the ball. And, you know, she's just rushed it there a little bit. She didn't really have any options, but the strike is what she thought was best in that moment.
It's very easy if you're a player who's not used to being in those sort of positions to not go full deer in the headlights, but maybe get a bit overexcited in that sort of moment.
Absolutely, and sometimes you don't realise how much space you've actually got unless there's a teammate that's communicating to you to actually drive into that space.
Lorena Baumann still waiting for her first Ninja A-League goal. The first entry in the competition a couple of weeks ago. Good win back by the Wanderers. Yuan Kong looking to thread the needle for Sonny, whose pace was brilliant. A huge chance for the Wanderers. Can Kong get a shot away? It won't happen that time around for Kim So-Yoon. Emily Grove able to gather, and this is a let-off for the Mariners' defence.
What a fantastic ball there to break the Mariners' defence, and you can see Kim just takes that one little extra touch there and really doesn't capitalise on the opportunity to be able to put the Wanderers one up at that time.
A bit of a shock through the Mariners. Gomez, a really nice pass for Quilligan, who had a bit of space to work with. Short for Krasula. Babington has really settled in the last couple of weeks on his preferred midfield three. That trio of Quilligan, Gomez, and Krasula. Silvani Prakash start slots at the start of the season, but contented herself with a place on the bench at the moment. Norman's been plenty involved so far. Just couldn't work the link up that time with Izzy Coco DeCipio. To see 23-year-old finally getting her chance in the Ninja A-League. 17 goals this season for the Beyond New South Wales champions, Bulls FC. Championship winning teammates here at the Mariners this year. Barwick-Gray, Annie Prakash.
Stay wide, stay wide.
Just Barwick Gray. Every minute so far for the Mariners.
Forward. Stay under, Tess. Stay under.
A lovely turn from Izzy Gomez. Beautiful stuff. Sonny comes in to break it up, and Beck Mackey is happy with it all. And eventually, at the end of all of that, it's Izzy Gomez who draws or gives away the front.
Jeff. 4-1, 4-1.
The marker of the early knockings of this game, though. Beck Mackey very happy to let this game run its course where the physical battles are concerned.
I think it's great. You allow the game to have its flow and not pull it up unless it's something that's, you know, drastically concerning. But I think the game is turned into a game of physicality. It's a game of battles, you know. So to see the game allow the flow, I think is fantastic.
Shasari twisting and turning, showed too much of the ball that time to Crisula.
Get up here. Good.
So lifting it over the top, the offside flag is going to come up against Tanika Matos. Concern, of course, reuniting with one of her former teammates from last season in Chloe Berryhill. Both of them shared the field last year at Western United together. The club against whom Tanika Matos scored her first Ninja A-League goal last year after 74-game wait. Season and a half, she's really added a bit more to that attacking side of her game. We know that she's always been able to get up and back the touchline, but to add that goal contribution, to add that assist here and there, has been a really important growing facet of her football.
Absolutely, and she's got the qualities to be able to go forward. As we know, she's got the physical ability to be able to get up and down, but to really get herself in that front third and really start combining with her teammates and wanting to go forward and actually score goals or get into goal scoring opportunities, I think is important, because we've always known Danica to be a fierce competitor, a great defender, and that's what her greatest attributes are. But she also just needs the belief to be able to get into those areas and have coaches that allow her to express herself once she does go forward.
Shielded by Gomez. Defending to do here, Danica Matos against Coco DeCipio. We've added the attacking elements of her game, goal-scoring elements over time. She's always had that running ability, that consistency of match minutes. Today, incredibly, for 96 Wanderers games, the 91st in a row, only 6 minutes in that stretch. As here come the Wanderers through Berryhill. Gets it done at the second time of asking. That'll drop for Kong nearly. Mackey is not happy with the exuberance with which the 25-year-old came flying in on Taryn King. I don't think Taryn King was best pleased with it either, actually.
I don't think Taryn King was very happy about that, but it's great that the referee has taken control in the game, because sometimes, as we're talking about, allowing the flow but also pulling it up when needed. But it was a great passage of play here from the Western Sydney Wanderers, and you can see already Chloe Berryhill really starting to pull the strings in midfield, wanting to get involved, dropping deep to get on the ball, and then wanting to go forward as well. You can see how excited she is to be back on the pitch and be back in this Ninja A-League.
It's only a brief stint away, but I'm sure everyone, even maybe Sydney FC supporters who are watching her in the opposite end of town these days, will be happy to see her back in the competition. As this one has fallen the way of Coco DeCipio, bouncing towards goal and in! Well, the Mariners go straight up the other end and create a special moment for Izzy Coco DeCipio. Her first goal at Ninja A-League level. And one that is a long time in the making for a player who's had to battle to get to a moment like this.
It was a ball forward there by Bauman, and Coco DeCipio just puts her body on the line. You can see here, she just gets in behind Amy Chisari there. Sham Karmas is in two minds there. She gets her, because Coco DeCipio gets her foot to that ball and just knows what she wants to do with it. And what a fantastic goal for the youngster, and you can see what it means to her, the celebration. It's so great to see Coco DeCipio with this goal.
And she has had to battle through torn ankle ligaments, broken bones in her foot as a teenager. toiled at NPL New South Wales level for years for a moment like this, and well, that smile says it all.
It surely does, and I'm sure her mum is in the crowd watching. Her mum's been one of her biggest supporters. I know the family really, really well, and I know Coco DeCipio has been phenomenal in the NPL, especially in this last season, but she's one of those players that has never given up, always had the dream of being in the Ninja A-League, has always had this dream to be able to, you know, be a professional footballer, and to see her be on the field today and score this goal has been fantastic.
It's a great moment for the New Mariners attacker. It's a headache, though, for the Western Sydney Wanderers. They're only bolstered 11, chucked into Matilda, but it's not going to plan on the scoreline as yet.
It's going to show a great test of character here for the Western Sydney Wanderers, especially when you go behind a goal and you're at home, and they have started the game really, really well. They've been really good on the ball, and so now it shows a test of character to see how do they bounce back from this.
Definitely will be, and Jeff Abrahams will be really keen to get his side back on the score sheet. It is only 2 games they've gone without a goal, but it was one of their Achilles heels last season. They went 11 games scoreless over the course of the season, including a 4-game stretch. It's one of those things where you just don't want it to get too far away from you, because it can, as we've seen in the Sydney derby, for example, become a millstone around your neck.
Absolutely, we never want to see that for any teams, but you can see that the Western Sydney Wanderers, especially in their recruitment this season, have got players on the pitch that can score goals, especially with the addition of Chloe Berryhill this season. We know that she's a player that can really strike the ball from anywhere and really likes to get herself into those front third and into the box to be able to create goal-scoring opportunities.
Sonny, make it work. Well, one back by Annabelle Martin. Would be a little jealous of Isabella Coco DeCipio. It's taken you 6 games to get your first Ninja A-League goal. Annabelle Martin, 96 games in the Ninja A-League, still waiting.
Lockie, there's still players that are still waiting and probably played a lot more than that as well. And I remember when Teresa Pelaez scored her first goal in the A-League, everybody was jumping up and down. We waited so long for it.
Comes Peter Trimis. Down the left wing, it's Buchanan who wins what is one of the key battles of this evening's game, well, that time around. 2 players on that flank who have really hit the ground running in season 25-26. Matos gets the eyes up, looking for Yuan Kong. Well read by Barwick Gray. Here's Amy Harrison looking to let fly, and it's the first bit of serious goalkeeping action for Annie Grove. It's a comfortable collection, but
you can see here Berryhill, great little connection there with Amy Harrison, and Amy Harrison picks up the ball back in the middle of the pitch there and sees that there's time and space in front of her and just really lets it fly there.
It's really enjoyable watching her back in that midfield after such a long time toiling in the centre of defence, as defence now turns it over. Izzy Gomez couldn't do it all herself that time around. Sure, Wanderers captain will be relishing the chance to reunite with her former teammate. It's Bauman. It's back for Coco DeCipio. She's getting the eyes up, wanting to turn provider. It's a bad cross, but it's the wrong side of the penalty area. Buchanan can take it up the other end. This is nice and open all of a sudden, this game. Second ball is going to sit for Ina Harada. Matos. South Berryhill. Quilligan was well positioned. Tess Quilligan can do, or Amy Jasari can do it just as well. Matos. Winding the ball in, comfortably dealt with by Grove. Just get the sense that it's going to take still a bit of time for, while the Wanderers have got all these exciting attacking options at their disposal now, maybe just still a bit more time, even in this game, for them to gel, for them to click together.
Absolutely, you've got to start to build on those relationships on the pitch and understand what your players like, what the movements are, and you can see here with the Wanderers playing with the two players up front, really, Danica Matos and Buchanan on the other side are the two players that create the width for the team. So it becomes very isolated for Matos and Buchanan. When they do get into those areas, they are looking for crosses into the box, and you want to be able to get numbers in the box when you are going forward.
Lost 11 players in the off-season. Plenty of jigging for Jeff Abrahams to do. Good pass into space, and a good run made by the fullback Annabelle Martin. She'll push it wide for Peter Trips. Martin, top of the box. Shooting range, but decides against it. Good tackle coming in, and then a long shot from Tess Quilligan that time. Happy memories of Wanderers Football Park at that end. She scored her only Ninja A-League goal, also made her debut against the Wanderers. It's knocked down from Berryhill. Matos setting a task for Sonny. King does just about enough to keep it away from the clutches of the South Korean.
Well, it's not enough just to be there, eh? It's not enough just to be there. Win the ball. Good. Keep moving quick.
Yeah. Jeff Abrahams just showing some constructive feedback to Kim So-Yoon, just to take it up a notch when the ball's there to be won. Frustrated expression across the face there.
He does look a little bit frustrated, and sometimes it's tough. You work all week towards what you're trying to execute on the weekend, and you do go 1-0 down, and it's hard to keep your players up and about, and it's important now that they keep calm and be able to keep that positive mindset within the team. And it's only early days still, and it's important that they keep playing and keep wanting to get on the ball and keep looking to get someone like Chloe Berryhill to start creating more going forward.
There's a loose one from Jasari. Gomez gets the eyes up. Here comes Annabelle Martin bombing on, but it's too much wasted on the forward pass. He's keeping the squeeze on the Wanderers, though. Trim has given one to Chase, and it's well judged by Buchanan. He's equal to the task again, albeit at the concession of a corner.
Buchanan's done really well here, not allowing Trimmers to get on the ball. She's put her body on the line.
Lofts for Annabelle Martin. These were a problem phase for the Wanderers last year. As this one comes in, it's missed by Matos. Not clean contact though from Izzy Gomez. Quilligan. Second crack perhaps for Martin. Lifts the ball in. Karma's second guest. Here is Izzy Gomez! 2 for the Mariners. Izzy Gomez on the board again against Western Sydney. And it is the former Wanderer who doubles the visiting side's advantage. And this is shaping as a happy road trip for the reigning champions. Gomez's incredible goal-scoring run keeps on going. It's an emphatic finish.
It was a great corner to start, and then obviously they've gotten rid of it there, the Wanderers. The second phase comes back in, and when you getting rid of that ball and you're clearing it and just dropping down to a player like Izzy Gomez. We know her technical qualities and she's so dangerous in those areas, and she's got the technical ability to be able to strike the ball. And what a quality finish there by Izzy Gomez.
It's her third goal against the Wanderers in as many games. It's more than any other player in this particular matchup. They had a whole hill to work around the Wanderers. Now, the second goal inside the opening half hour gives them a bit more of a mountain. On the opposite side of the equation, Corey Babington will be very pleased with this opening half hour, because even if from general play they haven't been utterly dominant or necessarily 2-0 in control, they have taken charge of the two moments that have afforded themselves, and you wouldn't know this was a side that had gone 3 games goalless in a very difficult road stretch a couple of weeks ago.
Absolutely, you can see that the Mariners are really putting their body on the line. They're winning those 50-50s. They're getting stuck in. They're wanting to win those 1v1 battles, and you can see all over the pitch. You can see here Quilligan and just wanting to win that ball. That's been a little bit of the difference here between the both sides.
Been maybe not creating as many chances as they would have liked, the Mariners, but they have been taking them this season. It's incredible. Sometimes you get crazy outlier stats so early into a season. Going into this game, the Mariners had converted 85% of their big chances in games, so opportunities inside the box, that sort of thing. Looks like one of those crazy stats until they convert both of their big chances in this game as well. Chance for the Wanderers to offer something back in the opposite direction. The quality is certainly there for them to find a route back into this contest. Swung in by Harrison into an awkward area, and it pulled Barwick Gray into action just to go for the safe option of conceding a corner.
It's a beautiful ball in here by Amy Harrison, just into that dangerous area on the edge of that 6-yard box, which puts Annalee Grove in 2 minds whether she comes or whether she goes. But Central Coast Mariners have done well to deal with that.
Harrison, second set piece for her in as many seconds. Magnets start to move at the back post, none of them found. Another corner coming the way of the Wanderers. For all their technical quality, not the tallest side, the Wanderers, not a heap of likely options in these corner situations. If there is anyone who can pick them out reliably, Amy Harrison is a reasonable option to have. Kong, likely target of this Harrison ball in, and his heads away again. Harada. Top of the box was Berryhill, the touch a heavy one. And just cleared for distance so the Mariners can bring their lines up. Bit of a sustained spell of pressure survived. Goal, Kath. That is the kind of goal that speaks to everything that is good about what Izzy Gomez has brought into her game over the last few seasons. The qualities that made her into a Matilda, of course, this season. Just always willing to make that forward run, to get into those attacking positions out of midfield and really create a problem for the opposition team as to whether or not track her, who's following her, all that sort of problems. It adds up to a midfielder who is able to score goals with really reckless abandon.
Absolutely, and Izzy Gomez is such a technician of our game, and she's quality on the ball, but she's also got that fierce competitiveness in and around the box where she just wants to score. She wants to put her body on her line. She actually gets herself in great positions in and around the box, and she reads the game so well, and she understands, you know, the flight of the ball. Once it's going to drop out, where does she need to be? And she does it so well, and it just comes so natural to her as well.
6 goals in 12 games last season after coming back from that injury that curtailed her initial Matilda's call-up. She eventually got that first cap against Argentina in June. She set herself a very high bar in terms of replicating last year. So many important goals in amongst that stretch of 6. 2 goals in 5 games this season. She had a bit of an injury-interrupted start to the year. It's looking like she's picking up where she's left off last season. The Mariners are the beneficiary. 2-0 up after the opening half hour at Wanderers Football Park. First inter-A-League goal for Izzy Coco de Scipio, followed up. And a second for the aforementioned Izzy Gomez. In a situation like this, Kath, in years gone by when the Wanderers have found themselves on the back foot, so often the responsibility has been on the couple, because there are not many in the Wanderers lineup, experienced heads to pull the team to create that lift. It usually falls on the shoulders of Amy Harrison. How much does it add to the Wanderers knowing that they've got another experienced customer like a Chloe Berryhill who's not afraid to issue the instructions and push out orders in a situation like this?
I think it's a massive coup for the Western Sydney Wanderers, and a great addition for Amy Harrison as well. Amy and Chloe have played together for many, many years, and they've got a fantastic relationship, and the two of them can really drive this team forward, especially with their experience. And to be able to have the ability to, you know, drive them from an opportunity like where they are right now, that they're losing 2-0, this is where you need to dig deep as players, and this is where you need to see the characters of all your teammates on the pitch. And to have 2 leaders of Amy Harrison and Chloe Berryhill on this pitch is a huge, huge advantage to the Western Sydney Wanderers.
Especially when they can conspire together to deliver those messages. They are very familiar with one another, having played together Sydney FC championships there and America, and for the Matildas as well. Will be leaning on them to find back into this contest. Warwick Gray is hooked on its way in the direction of Rasmussen. Hooks turned into trouble, but finds the feet of Sham Karmas. So, Shasari deep, and how did she manage to keep the ball away from 2 Mariners markers there? That was fantastic stuff. Will release Danica Matos on the far side. It will as well. The cross into the middle. Oh, it's just past the reach of Yuan Kong. Still alive for the Chinese international. Deflected cross, lumped away by Warwick Gray. Deep thwack across the roof at Wanderers Football Park.
Hirata's done well there to find Matos in behind, and Matos is trying to look for players in the box, and you can see that Kong is the only one in that box there, and a lone sort of ranger. And when you're going forward, and especially in those transition moments, you need to be able to get numbers in that box.
It's one of those situations where you definitely want a second back post runner if you can find one. Hirata breaking to the byline, crossing it in. Can't find the diminutive presence of Sonny in the centre. We've seen in recent weeks the Mariners how devastating they can be from those sort of wide positions. It's been an area to work on for the Wanderers so far. Prisula. Annabelle Martin seem to take up this central position with increasing regularity. Coco de Scipio has come across to the right. Bauman. Draws it into Rasmussen's feet. She does well in the physical battle to keep it a Mariners ball. Spills out to Peter Trimmis. What can the youngster do from the right-hand side? She'll swing the ball in, not totally cleared by the Wanderers. And Beck Mackey does that time decide that that's a little bit too much physical contact from Izzy Gomez. A fellow Australian international in Chloe Berryhill.
You can see here again, we speak about the Mariners looking for those 50-50 battles, and they're really getting into the game in that physical capacity as well. And Izzy Gomez not caring who the opponent is and what player it is. She's there to do a job and to win a game, and you can see that.
Should they make any potential future Matildas squads together? Be one that comes up in conversation. Nothing too serious though. It's a great pass from Gomez. Peter Trimmis wide. She would love to add to her tally. Peter Trimmis! Oh. She wasn't far away from doing that. It's been so impressive in the wide positions for the Mariners this season.
It was a great ball in there for Peter Trimmis, and you can see here she's done really well to sort of get herself back onto that left foot and away from Alana Cern. And it's a little bit of a change there for Corey Babington. He's swapped Trimmis and Coco DeCipio, probably because Trimmis really hasn't been getting into this game too much. And when she is on the left-hand side, it allows her to run at players and then obviously then look to cut inside onto her right foot as well. So it's good to see her back on the ball on this side as well.
I just wanted to get her away from the fullback on the other side as much as anything, because Ella Buchanan was having lots of joy keeping Peter Trimmis quiet. Chisari. It's a hopeful outside of the foot pass for Sonny. Beck Mackey is going to use this stoppage in play, I think, just to give a bit of a warning to Izzy Gomez. We have, well, Beck Mackey hasn't blown for lots of infringements so far this evening. Quite a few of them have had Izzy Gomez at the forefront. Long intention ball, but no one home to latch onto it from Amy Chisari. Riding high off the back of it'd be fair to say, a breakout campaign in the Ninja A-League last season. She's one of quite a few players the Wanderers have got on their books this season. You look at them and just there's so much upside in this team.
There sure is, and Amy Chisari is one of those players that's been around for quite a long time. She came through the system and she's played, you know, throughout the NPL, and she's been in and around the Wanderers group for a little while. So now to start to see her really make this position her own. She plays it so well. She does that role as that number 6 so great. She's technically really good on the ball and can really get really onto sort of their build-up, and really is one of those key players to help them within that build-up. You could see earlier, you can see she wants to roll out and get on the ball and start to create those overloads in wide areas as well. It's just once she does get in those areas, who is helping her to be able to progress the ball forward.
And not just good at building up those attacks, but also starting them, because often she's the player who wins it back in that midfield area. She's the leader for tackles in the Ninja A-League. She does get the better of her sometimes, in fairness. She does concede her fair share of fouls too. So Anderson is very lucky there. Not so much that time around. Luckily, Sham Karmas in just to spare the blushes of the Wanderers' back four. It's just been a couple of shaky moments that have really cost them so far. Quilligan. Just to keep that ball under her possession. Martin is chopping back. Tried to take the ball in stride, but it was well judged by Poppy Hooks, who is the Korean Sonny on the run. Yuan Kong on her shoulder. Ball heads inside. For the first time, Wanderers just finding themselves a little wanting in those wide areas. Harrison. Chisari. Getting the right idea, just lacking the desired purchase.
Again, you can see Matos and Buchanan are the two players that create the width in this formation. So once you don't allow them to get into the game, somebody else needs to come into those wide areas to be able to pick up the ball, and then you need to actually bring other players into the game, whether you're crossing or whether you're looking to combine with other players. The Wanderers need to make sure once they do go forward that they are looking for that combination play. Or are we crossing? If we're crossing, then we do need numbers in the box.
The issue is when they are playing it into those areas and the fullbacks aren't pushing on, that is dragging a player out of that central area where you'd otherwise want to have them on the other end of the cross. This is insult to injury. Yuan Kong being made to collect her own wayward shot.
And you can see here the Wanderers, they defend with the single striker. She's gone over to get that ball. Mariners play out the other side, and the Wanderers don't have their striker that actually is the start of their press.
So Gomez retrieving the ball. Centre circle as we approach first half stoppage at Wanderers Football Park. The Mariners sitting pretty with a 2-goal buffer. Could they add to that before the break? Gomez, the backfielder, caught her teammates off guard. Trimis with a swing and a miss. Quilligan. The third goal would make life really tricky for Western Sydney. That's what the Mariners are looking for. Priscilla. This time the Wanderers shape would have forced the Mariners into a retreat as step into 2 minutes of additional time in the first half. The key areas that Jeff Abrahams is going to be instructing his side about ahead of this halftime interview.
I think the key one's going to be when you are building up from the back, you need to be patient and not really force things. And they're looking to really play that ball through the midfield but not breaking a line, and they're losing possession because the Mariners are setting up defensively really, really good, and they're really disciplined, but you need to change the point of attack. You need ball speed. You need to be able to shift the defense to be able to open something up, to be able to break a line. And especially the last 15 minutes, the Wanderers have been really poor in their build-up play.
It's a good win back. Surprisingly, comes in midfield from Amy Chisari. As we were dooming and despairing over the potential third goal and what that would mean. The Wanderers have got it within them to launch one last attack. Nick one, that gives them something significant to work with. Ella Buchanan has stayed on side. The number is starting to filter in this time. What to work with for the fullback's cross. Again, it's just offline. Really wanting to make those moments count in the second half, and the players are in the box. So make sure you're getting it within Kui of finding them ideally.
That's the moment to cross. Buchanan was in a great position there to be able to deliver the ball into the box. The Wanderers had numbers in there. It's a perfect opportunity to create a goal-scoring opportunity there.
Sonny, will Beckmackie allow one last push before the break for the Wanderers? The answer is no, and so the Central Coast Mariners, who prior to today were goalless and winless away from home this season, have gone some way to changing that today. 2 first-half goals, a first in the Ninja A-League for Izzy Coco de Scipio, and a second for the Matilda. Izzy Gomez means it is the Western Sydney Wanderers with the work to do on the other side of the halftime break if they are going to stop the Central Coast Mariners from securing back-to-back victories in the Ninja A-League. A big second half to come, but here at the break, it's Western Sydney Wanderers 0, the Central Coast Mariners 2. Let's have a look at the highlights from the opening 45. No shortage of them Kath Canuli, but many of the ones that arrived for the Mariners came of the Wanderers' own making, although they did have a few chances to look back on.
They sure did. In the opening of the half, you could see that the Wanderers had a couple of chances there. You can see here that they had a great opportunity to be able to capitalise and be able to get up against the Mariners here, but the Mariners turning them around. Bauman with a ball in behind for Coco DeCipio, putting her body on the line there and really making that her own and scoring her first ever Ninja A-League goal. And you can see here, she's really determined. Sham Khamis in two minds there, and Coco DeCipio just puts it into the back of the net.
It was a great finish, and the celebration not half bad either. A moment that will mean the world to Izzy Coco DeCipio. The Wanderers did find a few openings here and there down the flanks. There were quite a few situations where they just couldn't get those final link-ups. The Mariners were able to find a nice little insurance policy. Again, hesitation from the Wanderers. And Izzy Gomez does what Izzy Gomez does best.
Absolutely, we know Izzy Gomez, you don't want to give her time and space, especially in and around the box. We know what her technical abilities are like, and again, that second phase from the corner there for the Mariners, picking up that second goal and going into this second half 2-0 up.
Yeah, it's dead even in the possession stakes, but the Mariners, as you can see, are doing a lot more with the ball that they are being afforded. Plenty of work for the Western Sydney Wanderers to do on the other side of the break. They will be hoping that they can mark Chloe Berryhill's debut with a result, but still a long road ahead. But a big second half to come on the other side of the break. Welcome back to Wanderers Football Park. half-time, and the Central Coast Mariners are on course for back-to-back wins. 2-0 they lead after the opening 45 goals from Izzy Coco DeCipio and Isabel Gomez, whose red-hot goal-scoring form continues. She has struck up a fantastic partnership with Greta Kazula in midfield. Two teammates, thick as thieves. Let's hear from both of them now.
Who is more likely to nutmeg the other in training, and has it happened already?
Well, you.
I think...
But it hasn't happened. You've never nutmegged me.
No, okay, maybe not this year, maybe last year. No, but I think it's a kind of a mutual thing, you know. We both tend to be very skillful and nutmeg people.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Put Hughes into trouble. Gomez winning possession away. The Mariners are 3-on-2 if they're quick enough. Play through to Rasmussen!
What's your passion off the field?
Oh, my passion off the field. I do a bit of sewing, so I like to sew some bags and yeah, things like that.
Nice.
Your stuff.
My passion, I love cooking or like baking.
I wish I could do that.
Yeah, I can teach you, but or I do like studying.
I'm like, bruh.
I know. What's your favorite memorabilia that you've collected?
So I did collect a Gomez Argentina jersey. Well, I've actually been wearing it to trainings and stuff. I like to wear it.
Enjoy it.
Enjoy it. Yeah. Describe each other's playing style in 3 words. Greta's style in 3 words would be composed, calm, and yeah, technical.
Okay, 3 words for you. I'd say fierce, technical, and electric.
Wow, that was nice.
Getting forward, Trim is waiting, Gomez goes herself and scores! Izzy Gomez brings the Mariners level!
What are you most excited about this season?
What I'm most excited about would be playing in front of all the fans and family.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. Playing in front of the fans is pretty cool.
Yeah, can't be there.
And the Mariners players can hold their heads also very high.
Plenty of adoring fans of Izzy Gomez in the Mariners, and they'll be liking what they've seen from her in this game as well. She had a big hand in the first half goals. Let's have a look back at them, Kath. A great start this first half for the Central Coast Mariners, and a great moment first up for Izzy Coco DeCipio.
It sure was, and you can see here Bauman knows that she's trying to turn the Western Sydney Wanderers defence around, and Coco DeCipio again putting her body on the line and getting there first and putting that ball into the back of the net. Again, you can see here just the determination of Coco DeCipio. She wants to get there, she wants that ball, she wants that goal, and that was the difference.
2 great long balls from the Mariners. This one is a beauty of an assist for Bauman. The Wanderers maybe just caught a bit betwixt and between who was responsible for dealing with that, but Izzy Coco DeCipio will not care. Super celebration to match a super finish. And then, as is so often the case in these sort of situations, when there is chaos in the box, Izzy Gomez is never far away with a finish like this.
She surely is, and she puts herself into those areas. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's in that position, specifically waiting for the ball to be dropped down to her, knowing that when it does get to her, her first touch and her technique to be able to strike that ball into the back of the net is absolute world class.
She'll be tipping herself for a big second half and hoping to push herself towards the Asian Cup. Don't forget, the big tournament on home soil is right around the corner.
1, 2, 3, best believe I got something up my sleeve. I'm a queen and I'm coming for my throne. Should've known your days were numbered. It's my turn, watch and learn.
Oh, I say it's incredible!
We're back at Wanderers Football Park. A big second 45 to come in the final game of round 7 in the Ninja A-League, which as things stand, will see the Mariners seal back-to-back wins and their first 3 points on the road this season. 2-0 they lead. Coming out of the first 45, goals from Isabella Coco DeCipio and Izzy Gomez getting the job done and leaving the Wanderers with work to do in the second half. The Wanderers debut of Chloe Berryhill, well, she's had impressive flashes, but they'll still want more, not just from their Matilda, but from the entire 11 so far.
They really will, especially coming out in this second half now. I think they've really got to turn it on, and 2-0 is not a scoreline that you can't come back from. We always know in football it's one of the most dangerous scorelines, but I think Chloe in the beginning was really, on fire and looking to build up and really get involved in a lot of different actions with the team. But it's important now that the Wanderers come out and they really come with really an upbeat influence in this game.
Absolutely, and we'll have to keep an eye on how much more of this match she is able to run out. Of course, she has been keeping fit. She has been training regularly while she's been waiting to get this move to the Wanderers over the line. But, well, it's not a literal baptism of fire, but, nearly 30-degree heat. It is pretty close.
Absolutely, the conditions in Australia are always quite difficult, and it was great to see the game being moved to 7 p.m. to allow for the cooler conditions so we can have better quality of football. But coming back and trying to play 90-minute football is not easy. It's difficult to be able to do, and to be able to build momentum into that is hard. And it'll be interesting to see how much Chloe Berryhill has left in the tank for this second half.
Will be one to keep an eye on as Jeff Abrahams looks to inject the goals back into this side. It is 2.5 games now since the last time they found the back of the net, and the two former Western United teammates now at Western Sydney, Alana Cern and Chloe Berryhill, just in a few conversations before the recommencement of play. All going well so far for Annalie Grove between the posts on her starting debut for the Central Coast Mariners. She really only had the one solitary save to make so far. It's been fairly comfortable as things stand. So if the Wanderers are going to return to winning ways, this is going to need to be a big second 45, but the Mariners have every confidence that they can put paid to those ambitions. This final huddle, very charitable of the Mariners to wait for Annie Grove to get in before they finish the final pep talk. As Beth Mackey gets set to bring us underway. Don't know how many more minutes we'll get of Matilda in this second half, but she may only need one moment. So I think 45 is back underway at Wanderers Football Park. Back, Kath Canuli. It's a game that has had great moments of attacking quality, particularly from a Mariners persuasion. Particularly the first goal, a really well worked one, but it just feels like with all those fresh faces that the Wanderers have got in, there is still a bedding in process that is unfolding before our eyes.
It sure is, and it does take time to be able to, again, find those relationships between players, to be able to play a style of football that Jeff Abrahams is trying to play. You can see that when the Wanderers do get the ball, you can see the likes of Shem Karmas being involved in the build-up and the players looking to move the ball around. It's about now trying to break that line and be able to progress the ball forward into the next phase of play.
We saw that cross come to naught for Danica Matos. And look at areas of second half improvement for the hosts. It's one of the focal points. They were able to get that ball into pockets on the flanks, but rarely, if ever, did they make it count by connecting across into the central area.
Absolutely, and that's important when you are asking your fullbacks to create that width from your formation, and it's tough to be able to get up and down that when they do get into those areas that you are looking for you know, deliveries into the box and getting those numbers in the box. And that's something that we're going to have to see here from the Wanderers. And especially in this space here, we talk about the 50-50 battles and wanting to win those duels. That's going to be really key for the Wanderers now to show the Central Coast Mariners that they're coming out in this second half and they want to get something out of this game.
Yeah, drop ball here. Handed back to the Wanderers. Struggled in recent seasons to find ways back into the contest after going behind in games. Played themselves into trouble here again. That one past the reach of Rasmussen. I haven't seen much, if any, intent from the Mariners to press Western Sydney when they have the ball in these areas. Almost by virtue of the fact that the Mariners' shape has been so good that the Wanderers have almost played the ball back into their hands in certain phases. They found a way out this time, though, through Sonny. It's a lovely first touch to get around Barwick Gray. Takes it to the byline, but the ball already out of play before she could drop it back into the centre. It's been a game where the critical moments of it, I think the South Korean would probably have wanted to have her time on again. It's easy to look back at the 2 goals and forget about the fact that she was basically in on goal with Annie Grove in the first half and just wasn't able to pull the trigger.
It's always difficult as a striker. You get these opportunities and you don't really capitalise on them, and you know, it really plays on your confidence as well, and especially coming into a new league and trying to really find her feet in Australia and within this competition as well, until she really starts to build that confidence. And I think sometimes for strikers, the confidence is built by scoring goals. So I think once we see her score that first goal, you'll start to see her find her feet within this competition and within this football team as well.
Talk about a catch-22. Strikers can only fix their goal-scoring woes by scoring a goal. Bobby Hooks. Nice line breaker for Sonny. Harrison in support. She wants to find the teammate in the middle. Looks for Yuan Kong. Mariners headed away. And it was Kong in an offside position. So he wouldn't have counted for anything had she received the cross. Two teams with so much change going into this new campaign. 15 players come in for the Mariners as well. Both of them have acknowledged that the start to the season will take a bit of time for them to gel, but it feels like it's all starting to come together for the Mariners in attack in particular. 6 goals now in their last 3 halves of football. It's been a hard team to assess, the reigning champions, because their best this year has been really good. Swashbuckled Adelaide in the opening round. Obviously, that 4-1 win against the Jets last week looks even more impressive now that the Jets have gone on to beat Brisbane. But the other 3 games on the road, taking on the 2 teams in Melbourne, Sydney FC as well, were really tough going if you're of a Mariners persuasion. It's been very rocks and diamonds so far this season for the reigning champions.
Absolutely, and I think in this league you can't take any team lightly. Every time you take the pitch, it's really difficult to be able to gain those 3 points. And I think, you know, we talk about the changes in players for the Central Coast Mariners, but there still are a lot of key players in there that do take these Mariners teams forward. And, you know, especially Gomez, Trimmers, Rasmussen, you know, these were 3 players that really were key to the Mariners' success last year as well. And then you can't take out the likes of, you know, Annabelle Martin, who also played a pivotal role in the Mariners last season as well.
There has been a lot of squad upheaval for them. The vast majority of the starting 11 is still fairly similar, particularly some of the headline names. It has been a tall task for Corey Babington, his first job in the Ninja A-League, to step into the shoes of M. Husband. Never easy coming in as a coach when the person you're replacing has taken the team to an incredible championship victory.
That is a huge task, but Corey Babington has been around football for a very, very long time. He's been across the men's game, the women's game. He's obviously the head of football at Westfield Sports High School as well, and knows a lot of these players and has played some sort of part within the growth of these players. So it's great to see that Corey has gotten the opportunity to be a head coach in the Ninja A-League. Again, his experience, especially with youth players and youth footballers, is second to none.
I mentioned that experience at Westfield Sports High, where so many international male and football stars have come through. Coaching experience with the future Matildas as well. Actually used to call the Western Sydney Wanderers home back in the day, if memory serves correct. Assistant coach in the Wanderers National Youth League setup back in the day. Very pleased with how his side have built into season 25-26. Des Quilligan picking up a free kick for the Mariners here.
And you can see here Amy Harrison is a little bit frustrated there that Quilligan just gets away from her and just sticks a leg out and draws that foul.
It's the kind of frustration foul that for a referee, pretty open and shut case. Annabelle Martin. Falls to Gomez. She's trying to play the perfect ball, but wins it back anyway. Great stuff from Gomez, and across comes Poppy Hooks to rid the danger. Plenty of work to do. Poppy Hooks in this game. Back in the Ninja A-League this season after a stint with Perth Glory a few years ago. Buchanan able to momentarily get it away from danger. Interesting to see that thing that happened over the course of the first half, Kath, was that Peter Trimmis, who started the right side next to Ella Buchanan, was having a hard time move to the flank. Second half restarts, back in the same position.
It's a little bit of a change there from Corey Babington. I think in the first half, Peter Trimmis really wasn't getting into the game, and I think he'd done that switch to allow her to be able to get a bit of confidence and get on the ball, because sometimes when players are really out of the game, it doesn't allow them to sort of, you know, make an impact. And I think coming back out in the second half, put it back onto that side and just see how it goes. And you might see as this half flows on that he might make that change again.
It's good to always keep the fullbacks guessing, as throw can only find a Mariners head. Unfortunately, that one's just off the arm of Danica Matos. Frustration continues for the Wanderers. Every ball that does find its way into the penalty area is more often than not finding a yellow shirt. A great defensive unit in the championship season last year, the Mariners, as Wanderers' persuasion just taking a bit of exception to the amount of time this free kick is taking to be taken. If it gets us underway, Buchanan. It's all the way back to Sham Karmas. Osula. Just about hear the calls of possession from Corey Babington, just wanting his side to have a bit of a prolonged spell on the ball. Barwick Gray. A real habit this season of these sort of runs out of the centre of defence, carrying the ball forward, making an extra number. She leads the Ninja A-League in carries this season. Is slowly putting the squeeze in Central Coast. Izzy Gomez is being Harassed and harangued by Yuan Kong. And still the Mariners have the football. Rode the crashing waves of Wanderers there very nicely. So for Crisula. This one to Coco De Cimpio. And that's where it comes unstuck for the Mariners. Oh, it's a back pass. Rasmussen was looking with intent. Haven't seen too much of Elise Rasmussen so far in this game. Just imagine that could change as the fixture goes on and the lines become slightly more stretched. Some sort of open space with the kind of clever runs that she's able to make that's gold dust for a striker who knows where to put their body in the right position.
Absolutely, and she does that so well. She's got the ability to be able to come towards the ball and pick it up, or stay on that last line and play and make runs in behind as well. So she's got the ability to be able to do both roles, which is fantastic for her and the Mariners.
She couldn't thread the needle that time. Was able to win it back. Good battling from Central Coast Youth Products. It's afforded the football to Martin for an early ball into the box. And it falls at the feet of Anna Harada. Whereas are pinned down at the moment. Greta Crisula to Lorena Baumann. Making assist for the first goal of this game. And Berry Hill still just learning to read from the same hymn sheets as some of her teammates so far.
I think it's important as well, once the Wanderers do work hard to win the ball back, that they do keep possession of that ball and not give away possession cheaply, because when you work so hard to sort of win it back, especially as a unit, you can't be giving it away just so easily.
Ceiling, low floor in the defensive stakes for them this season. Just the one. It was a slow start for them. Perth put 3 past them, victory 4. A couple of clean sheets. The first in a long time. Great work this time by Yuan Kong. Chinese attacker trying to thread the needle. Wanderers asked the question of a handball. Beck Mackey unmoved. Harada pushing to Poppy Hooks. This may be a chance for the kind of sustained spell of possession that Kinley was calling out for. Does it feature an end products? Not this time around. To wonder how soon it will be before Jeff Abrahams just looks to tweak that 11 that he's got out there. Potential fresh legs. Here come the Mariners. Peter Trimmis giving chase with Poppy Hooks, just doing enough to keep the ball in the Wanderers' grasp. Particular player you look to if you're Jeff Abrahams in this sort of situation?
For me, I'll be looking at definitely someone like Atalia Yunus to bring off the bench. We know what type of qualities she has. She's creative, she's exciting, she can really turn a game around, and that's someone that I'd be bringing on to the pitch.
We may well get to see her, but for the moment, Jeff Abrahams' first card off the bench is the call on Holly Caspers. Yuan Kong's day comes to an end. Holly Caspers will be hoping to replicate her fantastic recent run of goals against the Mariners as Sonny swings the ball in. And result the same. Mariners able to whisk it away. Coco De Cimpio shields the ball nicely and feeds it to Peter Trimmis. He kind of was caught in two minds there as to really go hell for leather in retrieving that one. It's the kind of situation where you do have to be careful when you're coming up against the kind of player who's got as much pace as Peter Trimmis.
Absolutely, and you know how good she is 1v1 as well. You don't want to be jumping in, and when you are quite isolated there as well. But Peter Trimmis has done well. She's gotten into that wide area. She's picked up the ball. She's noticed there's no players there.
Holly Caspers has already made something happen coming off the bench.
Already made an impact, and we know that Holly Caspers probably wouldn't be happy as well that she's started off on the bench, but she's done really well there, really starting to put Grove under pressure, and that's what we want to see. We know that this is Grove's first game, and you need to really test a keeper like this.
Holly Caspers will have every confidence that she can do that. It was a frustrating season for her last year in many respects, spending such a long time out with an injury that kept her sidelined, but then I think she'd make up for the lost time. Ended the season with 4 goals, 3 and 3 when she came back from injury, including that match winner she scored last time these two sides met. And in a formation, Kath, that involves so much running work for the person atop the tree to do that striker, it's not a bad second option. Holly Caspers is a player who's going to run all day for you up top.
It surely isn't, and Holly Caspers does have speed to burn. You can already see the impact that she's already made since coming off the bench.
That's a better ball, and here is a chance for Sonny. Just fluffed the lines at the crucial moments. Any contact there, and we could be talking about a different scoreline. But that is more like it from the Wanderers.
Great stuff from the Wanderers there, and a beautiful ball in there, in behind from Matos, and Sonny there, another clear-cut opportunity that really should have been putting that ball in the back of the net.
It's hard to see. She's really let those two major chances that have fallen her way slip through. Really a lack of contact with the ball, because one of the things that's been so notable about her play so far, even though she hasn't scored, so ball striking ability is top notch. She can get behind it. Forward come the Mariners. Early ball in. Cern, not the most convincing of clearances. It might sit at the top of the box. Oh, Quilligan had a crack. Not the worst idea. Seen her score from this sort of range before, and Beck Mackey is going to pull back for a Mariners free kick, and as a result, Amy Harrison, the captain, has gone into the book.
She wasn't happy there, Amy Harrison. She can see here, she comes and really slides in and doesn't make any contact there with the ball, and the referees.
I think there's no issue. Tess Quilligan, but it was another player just over the shoulder of Quilligan who Harrison, in her efforts to win the ball, came in and bundled over, so that's resulted in the first card of the evening. And a free kick for the Mariners. And Annabelle Martin. 96 games without an inter-A league goal. This would be some way to break it, but it is not. The time is not going to be now for the 27-year-old fullback. Goal kick will allow the substitution to crash through. It's the Mariners this time who will be turning to their bench at the same time as the Western Sydney Wanderers. And we get to see 17-year-old Eliza Familton come on, hoping to replicate her dream debut last week. Amy Jasari replaced by Talia Yunus, the other change. In fact, it's a double sub for the Central Coast. Ivani Prakash is also going to make her way onto the field. Tess Quilligan and Izzy Koko DeCipio coming off. It's a Piccadilly circus down on the touchline at the moment. It's another sub. Alyssa Ngsad making her way on for the Wanderers, and it is a debut that comes to an end at the 66-minute mark for the number 66 of the Western Sydney Wanderers, Chloe Berryhill. We saw flashes of what she will bring to this side, but you get the sense, Kath, that the best is yet to come for the Matilda in red and black.
It sure is, and I think it's only early days for Chloe Berryhill here at the Western Sydney Wanderers, not only returning back to the Ninja A-League, but also finding her feet within a new club as well, which is not always easy. But I'm sure there's going to be a lot more to come from Chloe Berryhill in this competition.
What will those replacements for the Wanderers? And obviously, I know you're a big fan of Talia Yunus. You've had a lot of chance to work with her in the past, but Alyssa Ngsad has been very good in her flashes off the bench so far for the Wanderers as well.
Absolutely. I thought she started really well in this competition, and she started that well that we did bring her into our Young Matildas camp down in Canberra, and we did have multiple games against South Korea, and I think she's got a massive future ahead of her, and you can see already when she does get on the pitch, she is electric, she's got speed to burn, and she's got a lot of good qualities that you can see that she's going to build into a key player here for the Western Sydney Wanderers.
Of course, she would have been joined by Talia Yunus in that camp had it not been for a hamstring injury that didn't keep her out last week, but the week prior and the international break. Could have been worse, though, from what you were telling me before.
Yeah, it could have been. We know that Talia Yunus did have a hamstring injury. We thought it was going to be a lot longer than what it was.
Dropped here for Caspers. And that's taken a touch off the Mariners' defence. So a corner coming for the Wanderers, and maybe those subs are going to shake this game up a little bit.
I think the greatest thing about the subs here, especially Holly Caspers, as you can see here, she's really determined. As soon as she's gotten herself onto the pitch, she's taking strikes at goal. She's trying to win those 50-50 battles, and she's really getting herself amongst it, and that's really what the Western Sydney Wanderers need right now.
Some extra energy. Can they capitalise on it? Harrison in, flicks away. Tarada happy to shield that in the direction of Matos. Ngsad. Comes Avani Prakash. Two of the top young midfield talents in the country, both making their way out onto the field in that substitution window. Yunus and Avani Prakash. While Quilligan toiled hard in the centre of the park, Kath, Avani Prakash just had something a little bit different in that centre of the park.
She sure does. Avani Prakash has got so much energy. She wants to be where the action is all the time. A very different player to Quilligan, who's just happy just to cruise in and around that midfield, get on the ball and be really that general. But Avani Prakash wants to be in and around it. But you can see here the Wanderers and the Mariners really getting stuck in with these 50-50 challenges, and this has been the difference now for the Western Sydney Wanderers, really coming to the table with this battle.
Battle between their attackers and the side flag continues into this second half. Talking earlier about Westfield Sports High and the amount of talents it's produced. Avani Prakash sitting in their alumni ranks, of course. As good a footballer as she is, she wasn't a half-bad student either. ATAR, if those things matter to you in adult life, surely they don't, but she's over 97, so she's not just a smart footballer, but she's a smart human as well.
She sure is, and she's such a high achiever. Avani, she's always really striving to be the best version of herself on or off the pitch, and she's so professional. Every time she takes that pitch, whether it's training or playing, she's always at that high standards and always looking to be, again, the best all the time.
Back in her native New South Wales after a stint with Western United. Here she is making things happen already. Rasmussen looking it back to Lorena Baumann. Trimms. Ball in. Will be well judged by Martin. Buchanan and her battling and scrapping, and it's the Mariners who come away with it, but only for a moment. Eunice. That's the kind of attack on the football that frustrates Talia Eunice, but is why the Mariners are such big fans of Annabelle Martin. Once, twice, 3 times, challenge after challenge after challenge.
That's one of her greatest attributes. She loves getting involved in being, you know, one of those fierce competitors, and you know that's something that she's got top of her game there, and that's one of the reasons why that she's week in, week out gets that starting position back.
Because clearing up there between Holly Caspers and Taryn King. Inside, a clever first touch to break into open space. That's what the Wanderers want to see. The pass not quite the same. Again, we continue to get these bright flashes from Alyssa Rungsard in those wide areas that the Wanderers have been lacking this afternoon. She went pretty close to her first inter-A-League goal last week, of course, in that goalless draw with Sydney FC. Subs are making a difference, though, for the Wanderers. Matos giving chase. It's the decision here from Beth Mackey. It's a goal kick. Shielded that time by the Mariners back line. Hopeful of keeping a second clean sheet of the season.
The Wanderers have been a lot better in this, especially these last 10 to 15 minutes. They're really getting stuck in and wanting to win these battles and wanting to actually, you know, try and get a goal back for their team, which is great to see. The energy and the enthusiasm from the whole team, and the changes now with Eunice, Ansard and Caspers have really been critical changes to this team.
There's a lot of isolation work for attackers in the first 45, but you see even when Danica Matos was chasing that one down, there was 4 Wanderers in the forward area, which is exactly what you want to see. So we have to be wary of, it's kind of the double-edged sword, especially when you play against this Mariners side. You want to throw numbers forward, you want to find a way back into the contest, but the Mariners are fantastic at moving at speed and capitalising on those counter-attacking opportunities when they present.
They sure are, and especially when you make a change like Avani Prakash, we know what she's like, you know, in that combination play, and especially going forward, she allows players to come into the game and look to play around the Wanderers' defence as well. But for the Wanderers right now, there's not much left in this game, and if you're going to lose this game 3-0 or 2-0, it doesn't really make a difference. They've really got to give it everything, because this game is crucial for them to really get something out of it.
Be a really important one, just to build a bit of belief, especially if you're coming back from behind. Even if you do take a point, then it feels a lot more like all 3 than 1. Jeff Abrahams will not be keen to let them run without a goal stretch to a 3rd full game. Certainly taking more possession in attacking positions in the last few minutes, though. Cash, just too much exuberance that time. She's picked up a yellow ticket for that foul on Kim So-yoon. Not quite this substitute's impact that Corey Babington would have been hoping for, but it's end of the line this evening for Annalise Rasmussen. Comes Tamar Levin to replace her. 24-year-old will be hoping for a replication of her efforts off the bench last week. Came on in the 77th minute, scored in the 78th. Given the situation that she enters in too, though, a Wanderers free kick might be a little bit hard to do that this time around, but we'll see. Counter-attacks can move fast. Wanderers need to find a route back into the contest fast. Well swung in by Harrison. Eunice Flicks up to her own advantage and across to Sonny, who just has to double back to see what she'll do with this one. She picks out Eunice well. Eunice lifts the ball in, plenty of Wanderers there, and it's off the post. Oh, a glorious chance to set up a grandstand finish. Goes begging for the Wanderers. Their best chance of the day, their best patch of play. And painfully for Jeff Abrahams, it produces nought on the scoreboard. And now the Mariners look to transition. Peter Trimmis marching forward, options to aim at, none of them found. Evan will to keep it alive at the back post, but Buchanan able to just clear it out for a touch. So take another look at this glorious chance for the Wanderers, and Eunice making a difference almost instantly.
Already making a difference here, and creating opportunities, and you can see here the Wanderers have really uplifted, and especially this last 10 minutes they're really getting behind each other, and the momentum's really starting to switch.
You just have to wonder how many of those chances will the Wanderers be allowed to let slip if they are going to manufacture a grandstand finish or even a comeback in this game. These are on Sard. No presence felt. Izzy Gomez. Sard, 17-year-old, riding high off the back of a brilliant NPL campaign with the Gladesville Ravens. Wanderers last season, their games did tend to carry a lot of late drama. 23 goals Wanderers saw in their games in the final 15 minutes last season. Quite a few of those were scored by the team in red and black, and they will need to replicate that feat here. Those were so good late heroics last year. Izzy Gomez with the final kick in the semi-final, case in point. A late one for them, and just about put paid to the Wanderers' ambitions of emerging from round 7 with a point to their name. As things stand, the Mariners are looking good for their first road win of the new campaign. Sard will be well past her reach, even despite her lightning pace. Jeff Abrahams will turn to the bench once more. It's another one of his Chinese internationals coming on, Wang Ying. 4-cap Chinese international, making her way onto the field alongside Liv Price. Captain Amy Harrison has battled hard today in midfield, as has Enna Harada. So a few more fresh legs as the Wanderers go chasing. Ying is the 4th Chinese player to play in the Ninja A-League. Liv Price, one of a litany of Australians, but I haven't seen too many Chinese nationals come through this competition over the years. The Wanderers have brought in 2 at once. The Mariners will have fond memories of their one and only Ergamal, cracking striker a couple of seasons ago. This one looks uncomfortable for Alana Cern. The expression on the face not telling a good story. The physio team swiftly out to give her some attention. I wonder if she's maybe just copped an errant arm or something like that.
It does. It looks like an elbow. Oh no, the back of the head there.
You would almost prefer to have an elbow than that. Back of the skull to the side of the head. It's a situation you unfortunately do sometimes find yourself in as a defender, but never one that you want to be in.
for sure. And you can see here, Lana Cern looks in a little bit of discomfort there. And the way that she's got that flick of the back of the head, and, you know, you're coming in, you really want to come in and attack that ball, and you've just misjudged that and copped that back of that head there. It's not comfortable at all, but she's back up on her feet now, and that's the most important thing for the Western Sydney Wanderers right now.
Hopefully she is all good to continue, because Jeff Abrahams is all out of outfielders. Seems as though she will play through the pain. 23-year-old. 23 in midweek. Ying has dropped into the centre of defence to cover her absences. That is a wonderful touch and turn from Holly Caspers. Gomez coming back to cover and doing enough. Well managed by the Matildas midfielder. Curiously, Holly Caspers, who started this game off the bench, is now the player wearing the captain's armband for the final 10 in the absence of Amy Harrison. Warwick Gray only find the feet of Ella Buchanan. Towards now or never territory for the Wanderers. If you score now, it'll feel like plenty of time.
If they score a goal now, it will really set up an exciting end to this match, that's for sure. And look, with the energy that the Wanderers have been playing with, especially the last 15 minutes, they're really showing a lot of good signs here, showing the intent to want to score, to want to get on the scoreboard, which is great to see.
Maybe Taru that header earlier from Talia Eunice's cross. This is good play from them though. Again, Eunice at the heart of it. Still going is Talia Eunice. This time Greta Krasula comes in to break up the party, but still Eunice has the football. She couldn't engineer a route into the penalty area there, but it wasn't for a lack of trying from Talia Eunice.
That's something that she does really, really well. She's so creative. She can beat players 1v1, but she also understands when to bring other players in and looking for that pass and move and those little 1-2s to be able to beat defenders. And you can already see the qualities of her, especially in those wide areas.
So Sonny has been shifted on to set-piece duties. It's a big back post up and under that's kept alive, nearly for Cern, and that's not the desired contact from Liv Price. Another one of these Wanderers who has had some fruitful recent outings against the Mariners. Goes in back-to-back games. The last two. And if you are a Wanderers fan thinking that all hope is lost, 2-0 down at the 84th minute mark, perhaps you will be reflecting back on a game back in February. Goals in the 80th and 93rd minutes turned a 1-0 deficit to a thrilling 2-1 win for the Wanderers. Inter-A League, certainly one of those competitions. Not all competitions in world football are, but it is certainly one of those leagues where you do never say never, you know?
That's for sure. We see that a lot across the A-leagues in general, and it's great to see. Again, we spoke about the energy that the Wanderers have been playing with, and I know it's a 2-0 down at the moment, but again, we never say never, and if they do get a goal in these next couple of minutes, it's going to become an exciting match to the end.
Be frustrating result to stew on should it stand for the Wanderers. They don't play again until after Christmas, not in action next week. We'll have to wait only 2 weeks to return to the Inter-A League action on the 27th against Adelaide United. Mariners bench swift in their applause for young Eliza Hamilton. The latest success story of the Mariners youth production line. Just the goal off the bench last week, but an assist as well. It was a seriously impressive performance. 17-year-old debutante. Prakash to Martin. Don't have much appetite. Corey Babington has gone for his side to chase a third now. They've had a few looks here and there. I just wonder if that corner, that throw positioning earlier, so many players in and around the corner, is maybe Mariners coach showing his hand in some respect as to where he wants his game to go.
How many times is she going to foul?
After getting a warning in the first half, so Gomez had been tempting fate with that yellow card for quite some time.
You can see here, and Saad just gets away from her, and she just sticks that leg out to make sure that she doesn't get on that ball and progress that attack forward.
It's the kind of card you're someone happy to take as a midfielder, I would imagine. Interesting free kick positioning here. The very high from the Mariners as Eunice delivers, and delivers well. And Wong Ying just couldn't really get her head around the ball swiftly enough to turn it on goal. It was another delightful delivery from Talia Eunice.
She's got such great technique and can deliver the ball into those dangerous areas, and it's just unfortunate there that they couldn't make something else from her. But you can see here already the Wanderers stepping up high. They're pressing with the two now off this goal kick and being very aggressive on their press.
They managed to hem the Mariners in this time. Starting to cast an eye towards the fourth official, Sophie Allen. Full of a healthy chunk of stoppage to play their part and get a goal though as well. Buchanan. Gomez. Hurried by the arrival of two Wanderers shirts on her blind side. If this result sticks as it is, it will be a very desirable lead-in for the Mariners ahead of their game next week, where they are travelling on the road to take on the form team of the Ninja A-League, the ladder leaders of the Ninja A-League, Canberra United, riding high off a fantastic win against Melbourne City last week. They're third in the space of 8 days. One of the early season success stories. The Mariners will go there full of confidence if they see this one out. Wong Ying. Saad. Clever pass. Eunice going for it. Oh, wow! Game on at Wonderland.
She can't hold on to that.
And it's a piece of brilliance from Talia Eunice. That sets up the grandstand finish. What's a way to get your first goal in the Ninja A-League?
That's exactly what this youngster can bring to the Ninja A-League and to the Western Sydney Wanderers. You can see she doesn't even hesitate. She knows that that goalkeeper is off the line. She doesn't think twice. She knows exactly where the goal is. She strikes the ball with absolute beautiful technique, and that's exactly what the Wanderers need.
That is a special one from Talia Eunice. Finally a goal after 42 appearances in the competition. That one was worth the wait. Talk about the technique of her free kicks. They've all been on point since she's come on. And that technical ability was on full display again. That was so good to do that first time. And we have got that grandstand finish, and we've got 5 minutes of second half stoppage time to play with.
How exciting is this, Lockie? This is exactly what the Ninja A-League is all about, and you can see already the Wanderers have got that spring in their step here, and especially being at home and got the home fans behind them, it's just fantastic to see.
The Mariners have another dagger blow in them. This is a fascinating 4 minutes that awaits to end round 7 in the Ninja A-League. Western Sydney has lost 5-10 minutes. It almost looked as though they'd given up the ghost, but weren't fully believing that they were going to be able to create the attacking chances to find a way back in. And up steps Talia Yunus with just an absolutely ripping goal. It will be replayed a few times, even if it counts for naught. Casper's offside. For all the extra confidence that one has added to the Wanderers, they cannot afford too many moments like that late on in this game.
They surely can't, but we have to say the substitutions have been the difference in this game. And I think in the beginning, the Wanderers have given a lot of respect to the Central Coast Mariners, especially knowing that someone of the likes of Annalee Grove stepping into this role of the #1 goalkeeper and not really testing her in the majority of the game, and now really getting tested.
And the raucous cheers ring out at Wanderers Football Park, not for an equalising goal, but for a yellow card that many feel has been long in the making for Annalee Grove. Abrahams is urging his troops up the park. So we see confirmation of that yellow card for Annalee Grove. The select game substitution will chew a few extra seconds out of the clock for Corey Babington, and it'll also provide the opportunity for a nice Ninja A-League milestone for both of the players who are about to come on. In fact, Clough is going to come on for her 50th appearance in the Ninja A-League, just a second in Mariners colours, first since the opening round. And Kaya Buchanan will enter on in place of Lorena Bauman, and in doing so becomes one half of the Ninja A-League's latest sister act. Of course, her younger sister Ella playing on the opposite side of things tonight in red and black, which an interesting moment for them. They're so used to being teammates in the NPL off-season. They shared the field as, oh, this has gotten a little ugly for Karmas. And the net unguarded as Prakash and Shyam Karmas come together. And only Prakash, of course, on a card. It's a rather unsightly sequence from both. Yunus will push it wide. Pick up and under from Cern. Wanderers players chasing. Caspers and Clough in a foot race. It's Clough who wins out. Raw and Canberra and Jets defender just knocking that one away. Ball in from Buchanan, flicked on and wide. Kim Soo-yeon. I wonder how generous Beth Mackey is going to be late on in this game, because credit to the Mariners, they have done well to shoo away a lot of seconds from this second half stoppage.
They sure have. They've been great with their game management. You can see whenever they were getting free kicks or a throw in, they were really taking their time and really trying to wind the clock down.
We'll add extra time for the substitutions that were made by the Mariners. Thumping header away. Every push extracted is important in moments like this. Is there a fairy tale finish for the Wanderers in round 7? Grove, the most emphatic of clearances. Prakash picking it up. Clough. That's the line to wonderful work by Gomez. Buchanan was on the march over her, but again, the Mariners still happy to just keep sucking away the seconds. They are nearly there. Ooh, and it's a short back pass. Karmas clears. And from the onrushing Liza Hamilton. Clough is being urged to take it into the corner. Yunus put her body about again. The Mariners want the final whistle. And it arrives. The late scare survived. But the Mariners taste 3 points on the road for the first time this Ninja A-League season. Back-to-back wins for the reigning champions, who are starting to kick their campaign into gear, courtesy of first-half goals from Isabella Coco de Scipio and Izzy Gomez. But they were made to work for it late on. A cracking goal from Talia Yunus set this one up for a grandstand finish. But the Wanderers just couldn't find the extra gears where it counted, even if Yunus's goal was a special one to savour, her first in the Ninja A-League. Sadly, for Jeff Abraham's side, it wasn't enough to come away with a result at Wanderers Football Park. The full-time score in the final game of round 7, Western Sydney Wanderers 1, Central Coast Mariners 2. Let's take a look back at the highlights from this one, and it feels like a long time ago that the Wanderers nearly went close to opening the scoring count.
They really did, and Sonny had plenty of opportunities, especially this one in the first half that came really early on. That can really be a game changer in the game, but then